I am here and I'm going to bring you on a journey with me as I make some sweet potato soup. I've been wanting to do a few recipes of some of the things that I enjoy to make, and usually I eat just mostly raw food. I try to stick with mostly fruits. And then I do have some veggies that come in more in the winter time because there's not as much fruit available. The recipe is by Amy Johnson. There she is, a picture of her. And what I did was I improvised. I revised the recipe for the ingredients that I had on hand last week when I made it for the first time. And I also like it extra chunky, so I'm going to do the same thing this time. I don't have all of the herbs and stuff like that, but I'm going to do the best I can with what I have, and it turned out great. So here's, let's see, the recipe. I'll try to find it on here, what's included. 4 large sweet potatoes, 2.5 pounds cut in half, cooking oil, 2 tablespoons of butter. I did not use butter, and at the time I had grapeseed oil. Today I have avocado oil, an onion that you will finely dice, which I don't do it real fine, just chunks, and then some celery, which I didn't have and I don't have today, so you can add celery. I did carrots instead, which was awesome. 3 garlic cloves. I do have garlic cloves, and that added a huge amount. And I did actually have oregano, ginger, and cumin, but I don't have that today. So I'm just going to use the garlic and the salt and the pepper that it calls for. I did not have vegetable stock, so I'm just going to do with what I had, and it tasted just fine. 14 ounces of canned coconut milk, and then you just salt and pepper to taste. So what I did, I'm going to show you, because at the place where we are able to stay temporarily on and off, they have this mini little oven thing. I hope you can see it. And that's what we're using to make the sweet potatoes in, to bake them. And we just cut them in half after we peeled them. Actually, my husband went ahead and peeled them and then cut them, and then you stick them in the oven on 400 for about 30 minutes, and then in a pan you're gonna just get everything else ready. And I'm just gonna do it the way that I did it because I found that it worked better to just put all of my liquids in and then to get ready for the sweet potatoes, and I added the garlic in there and it all mixed up well. She does it differently, where she puts in the onions, and as you see if I read through this, the garlic cloves, and just let's see what else she did, the onions and all that. I like my onions and stuff not too cooked, so I put those in at the end, but I did like the flavor to come into it. Definitely had the carrots and the potatoes cooking, and then I kept adding more hemp milk as, you know, I got it to the consistency that I wanted. So that's what I'm going to end up doing today. So I'm going to just come over here and grab my coconut cream milk. Yeah, here it is. This is the kind that I have, coconut milk. There you go. And this is 13.5 ounces, and I'm just going to scoop it into here. Try not to make too big of a mess. Alright, so I went ahead and just did the full screen so you can see a little bit easier what I'm doing. And what I'm going to go ahead and start out with, I have the coconut milk in here. I don't have any of the vegetable broth, so I'm going to go ahead and just go without for now, which is going to work just fine. I mean, the soup tasted so good. So here's some garlic that I have, and it asks for 3 cloves, and I may add a little bit more because I'm doing a little bit more sweet potatoes than just 4, and also because I don't have the other seasonings, and we love garlic, and so I'm just going to use a grater because I don't have a garlic press, and I'm going to just go ahead and put it right into the coconut cream. What I do next is I have some carrots. And if I had celery, I would definitely do some celery too. And I'm going to cut this up. I have 3 1/4, and I'm just going to chop them into little slices like that. And the potatoes are about done in the oven. They've been in there. See how much longer they have. Yeah, it's perfect. So as you're kind of getting everything else together, the potatoes can cook. So if anyone else has made this type of soup before, or you have a recipe, if you'd like to comment in the comment section, let me know. It's always nice to find different recipes, and I will leave Amy's full description and her recipe and her page link in the description box, and then I will leave some other people that I have really enjoyed following to get some vegan type recipes from, because it's just nice when you're starting out. It can be really difficult to know kind of what to do, and I found one lady recently who is mostly fruit, and so I'm excited that as I have more fruit, I'm going to really get creative, and it'll be fun to make more things. Maybe I'll come up with some other recipes on my own. But it's amazing how many people are out there doing this, and it's encouraging to see just people focusing on their health and turning to food as thy medicine. And, you know, I try to go to the local market and not to the grocery stores as much as possible. It's hard sometimes, but that is what I prefer. So, you know, each of us, we do what we can do. So I'm putting the carrots in because the carrots take a little bit to cook. I have a stainless steel pan. I don't use any of the non-stick pans unless that's all I have at the place that I'm at the time. But we don't own any. And I don't cook in plastic. I would prefer the Ninjas to not have plastic for the blender and stuff, but fortunately it doesn't heat up, and so I'm just thankful that I have one and that it works really good. So I have the carrots done. I will not add the onions at this time like Amy did, because I like my onions more firm. But I'm going to go ahead and start just chopping up some of these sweet potatoes, and I'll show you how I did it because I like it more chunky. And then what I did was I started to mash them in the pan so that they were somewhat mashed to get the soup texture, but I didn't puree them, and I didn't have all of them completely mashed. I had chunks in there, so I had a chunky soup. I have some Himalayan salt here. I also have some Celtic salt, but I'm going to do the Himalayan for right now because that's what I have more of. And I'm just going to kind of put a pinch in, a couple pinches because we have so much, and I will be adding more because that's going to be the basis. The garlic, the pepper, and the salt is going to be what gives the soup more flavor. It's amazing how salt and stuff can really add when you don't have any other seasonings. I really like the cilantros. I like the ginger really helped it. You know, nutmeg might not be too bad in it as well. And then the cumin would have been really nice to have. And the oregano is definitely nice to have on hand. All right, so I'm going to pull the potatoes out and then I will be right back. Okay, so the potatoes are out and I'm going to go ahead and just chop them. It's nice to have as many videos as possible. People, you know, who are trying to go back to the ancient ways of doing things, healing by the herbs, you know, all the botanicals that we have, and especially the fruits that are made for us and so easy to digest. They're the highest energy foods on the planet. And then next would be the vegetables. I really like the salads, and I recently found some really good dressing recipes that are just basically making it out of avocados and some different herbs, some onions, and then there's some other ones with some mustard and stuff like that, and some oils. I try not to use too much oil, try to stay away from that, but I'm just going to add this to the pan, and then I'm going to bring the camera over and I'm going to show you kind of where it's at. And we do have actually this time one more can of the coconut milk, so if I need to I might add that depending on the consistency. This is the hemp milk. Basically you add 2 or 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds, and then we have our Berkey water, and we add water about 16 ounces to 2 to 3 tablespoons of the hemp seed, depending on, you know, how you like it more creamy or not. And then you can add some dates to it. You can add cinnamon, you can add vanilla, you can add some maple syrup. You can add honey to it, depending on what you want to use it for. So I like to use it sometimes in my tea, and so depending on how sweet you like things, yeah, and for just cooking cakes or anything like that. I don't bake a lot. The last thing that I made that was like a sweet was a raw vegan carrot cake, and so no cooking at all. And it was easy. It was so good. And the big part of it was to make sure that you put it in the freezer so that the frosting, which was made of cashew and coconut cream milk, could harden. And I got that from another YouTube channel, Shine with Plants, and I will share that in the description box. And that's actually what I made for my 41st born date. Alright, so I'm going to show you inside the pan what it looks like. There we go. And then normally I would have some oregano in there and stuff, and some cilantro, and have a little bit of greens, but I will be adding the cilantro, like I said, the fresh cilantro to it when it's all done. So you just basically stir this up and get it to the consistency that you want. The carrots are going to take probably about 30 minutes to soften up, and the potatoes the rest of the way. And then I'm going to start mashing the potatoes a little bit. And I think last time the potatoes, because the oven we had was not the countertop one, they were a little bit softer, and so I mashed them up when I put them in the pan, and then I went ahead and added the carrots. So you can do it however you want, but this will work for now. And I've been dry fasting today, so I'm looking forward to this meal. I've been dry fasting since 6 o'clock last night because we went out to eat for my born date, which was November 5th, but everyone's been so busy and there's been so much going on, and so we went out to a Mexican restaurant, which I love Mexican. People who have followed my channel know that we went to Mexico. We lived off of Mexican food for like 7.5 months when I was pregnant, and yeah, it's something that I still really enjoy. But I don't like to eat a lot of it anymore because I stay away from the beans and like corn and different things like that. So it was kind of a splurge, and it was good. I've been trying not to be too stringent with myself and to allow myself to be flexible, and then there's things that I can do if I eat something like that. I am able to enjoy it, but then come back in and just kind of fast or detox out a little bit of what I just ate, so I can kind of rebalance myself and then start to consume more of the fruits and the vegetables. So I would like to say that I would normally just go to fruits. Like I have some pineapples that I'm excited to eat. I had some before I started my dry fast last night, and that would be the best thing to do, but I had these sweet potatoes, so I thought it'd be fun to make the soup and to enjoy this with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and just pause this until this is ready, and I will be back. Thank you. Alright, so I'm back, and I don't have a masher for the sweet potatoes, so I'm going to use the infamous mason jar, and it's right now bubbling, so I'm just going to start smashing some of these down. And this is perfect timing because the carrots are still firm and I didn't want to really smash those up. So it's been cooking for about 15 minutes, and I went ahead and I put a lid on it so that it would start to just soften the potatoes, and the steam and stuff would cook it a little bit faster. Alright, so I'm going to show you. It smells really good. I'll show you what it looks like. Alright. I just have a hard time with the camera. Flip this way. Can never get the full picture in there. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid back on, and then I will be back shortly. Alright, so I'm back, and I am going to go ahead and add some onion to the sweet potato soup. And I like onion a lot, so I'm going to add this big onion, and I'm going to show you what I did last time. They said finely chopped, kind of a yellow onion. We like sweet onions. So the soup has been cooking now for about 35 minutes, and it's at a good consistency. I didn't have to add any more hemp milk to it. This is what it looks like, if you can see it. A little bit chunky. That's how I like it. And we are going to add the onions to it. And then it will be pretty much ready by the time, if the sake bread works out. I'm going to leave a link to a video on making sake bread on the stovetop, kind of like pancakes. I've never done it before because we don't have an oven that will, we don't have a pan for the little countertop oven that we have here. And so we're just going to try it out and see what happens. So I just wanted to come back on here and to kind of show you guys what it looks like. I wish I would have had some ginger and some cumin and stuff like that, but again, we can all just use what we have, and it ends up turning out just fine in the end. So better than just having the sweet potatoes go bad, and we're going to enjoy this tonight. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope that you will watch the video on the sake flatbread. It's gluten-free, garbanzo flour and just water and salt and a little bit of oil, and then I added garlic to it. You could add oregano, you can add cilantro and different things like that. And then I have a video on how to make hemp milk, which I used a little bit in the sweet potato soup, but you can use it for, you know, just drinking for your cereal, for your tea, for pancakes, whatever it is that you need milk for. It's a great alternative, a plant-based milk that's healthier and not mucus forming. So thanks again for hanging with me, and I will see you again soon, and I will get better on these recipe videos. Namaste.